X on Winnipeg.
Oh, shoot. I drew a line with my finger. How do I write? Oh, right there. It's not much of an X, but it's a dot. Okay.
The next stop is Washington, Carolina.
They're in North Carolina. Okay.
Nashville.
This is Tennessee.
Buffalo.
Okay. I think that's right.
Montreal.
That's a road trip? It's a long one.
That looks pretty factual to me.
Well, you are a geography expert.
I totally am. See, you asked one of the American-born players about the locations on the road trip. You got to go to Canadian on that one. I have no idea where North Carolina is if you just go on the map that way.
Spend more time looking at North American geography.
I probably should have.
That's
It was
okay,
like
though.
40 years ago. 40.
Well, we are never too old to continue to learn,
Right.
JT. So hello,
Right.
everybody. How about we welcome everyone in?
Sure. Hi, everybody.
That's-
Happy Black Friday.
there you go. Maybe, are you going to participate?
Sarah.
Potentially.
Totally. I am driving everywhere today.
I
for
am
this show.
Sarah Lusky. He is Jamie Thomas. Thanks so much for joining us as we get you ready for today's game against the
Ooh.
Carolina Hurricanes. Game, what are we at now? 22? 23.
12 and 10.
For it. As always, you can catch us on Facebook, X, YouTube, and if for some reason you're not able to join us live, you can listen to us in podcast form afterwards. So always keep that in mind as well. But we love to see you in the comments and joining the conversation as well. So hello to all of you that are joining us already. It is a very busy day in the NHL.
Yeah.
15 games. There were no games yesterday.
Survey says, show us the board.
Yeah, American Thanksgiving
Lot of
is
games.
left to the NFL. So today you take a look at the schedule, 15 games for the Jets. It gets going. It's
Yep.
actually started already. There's a few games that are very much of interest, including that Avalanche Minnesota game.
Two teams that have won how many in a row?
Oh, it is only the 8th time in NHL history that two teams are facing off that have won at least 6 games in a row, I
Wow.
believe.
Ridiculous.
And Colorado's looking for their 11th consecutive one. They have just been on an absolute tear throughout it. But
Burn yourself out. Go ahead.
there you go.
Yeah.
Because you look at the games continue, as mentioned, the Jets playing Carolina today. It is a 5 Eastern
Mm-hmm.
game, and
Or Central.
it is the first of back-to-back games. The Jets will also be playing in Nashville tomorrow as this long road trip continues.
Yeah, I saw a very good question right off the start of the show. Is this a Millich start?
Oh,
It's a legit question. So there's no morning skate.
correct.
They had an optional skate yesterday. So the secretive part of this whole thing is well done by the Jets if they're trying to disguise anything at this point.
But we are looking forward to having our guests join us today,
Yeah.
actually, to talk. We do know that, look, Thomas Millich is going to start if today or tomorrow. He's
Right.
starting one of the two games. And so Daniel Fink, who's the voice of the Manitoba Moose, is going to join us in just a few minutes to give us a little bit of lowdown on Millich, on his season so far for it as well. And then back again.
Mike Maniscalco. We promised to be more prepared for this show, but what were Sarah and I doing moments before we came on air? We were doing a lot of 80s and 90s research for Mike. He's a wizard in that department, but we're ready.
Yes.
We're going to blast him
I
with a
love
couple of-
80s and 90s pop
Yeah,
culture
yeah,
trivia. So
yeah.
that's right in my wheelhouse. But as you mentioned, no morning skates. So we are not going to put up a projected lines board as we typically would.
Yeah.
Because with yesterday, as Jamie said, being an optional skate,
They gave us nothing.
we have no idea, to be completely honest.
Have you ever tuned into the right show if you
That's
came
right.
here for
Because
answers?
we don't know
No.
for it. But the lineup remains uncertain. What we do know is that the top line against Washington was the one line that was able to have production.
So I think the biggest problem clearly was falling behind 2-0 early. And Washington, I believe, had the most games this year with scoring the first goal. And then they had played Minnesota, who had scored in 11 straight games first. So like they were running into the first goal of the game masters in these last two contests. But to your point, the top line was amazing. And Gabe Vilardi got 2 goals, up to 100 career. Power play scored another goal. When it was 4-2, top line went to work again. Mark Scheifele had probably 10 glorious scoring chances. I'm being very dramatic at that department, but he had a lot. And finally for that one to go in. But it's a continuing theme for this hockey team of the top line doing the majority of the heavy lifting when it comes to scoring offense. So let's just take a look at that goal from Scheifele that made it 4-3 in the third period.
To the mark, Morrissey to Vilardi. DeMello takes it towards the net. Scheifele scores! And just like that, the Jets are within one with 4:49 to
So they came close to tying it at the end. The puck was like in between Tom Wilson's skates on the goal line, and Gabe Vilardi talked about it afterwards. But man, they came that close. But the point is like they need something from someone else. We had talked about that before.
Yeah,
the game itself.
Scott Arniel, after the game, though, was asked about the play of the top line and their continued production.
They're one of the top lines in the league, and they're hard to handle. And you know what? But I would like some of the pressure to be taken off, that we were getting more run support, so that when they do score 1 or 2 or 3, that we win hockey games going away, or some other people score, and it isn't just having to, if those guys have an off night where they don't score, we have other people that can step up. So that's just something that, again, part of these things that have kind of gone on since the start of the year, that you're trying to fill in some holes in the boat there, and some other ones are opening up. So I don't want to say that all we have to think about now is scoring goals, because we know what'll happen. So just stay with it, and we'll continue to grind guys to do the right things to score goals.
So we paid somebody a lot of money to find out just how much the top line is scoring, namely us.
Yeah, so the Jets' top line is 33 goals. The rest of the lineup against Washington their night has a combined 25 goals in terms of forwards. We weren't looking at the blue line, just in terms of the other 3 lines that are out there. So secondary scoring, the need for it, that has been a storyline throughout this season. We have seen some adjustments to lines throughout this season, whether it be because of injuries or because Scott Arniel and company are trying to get players going and trying to take some of the weight off the shoulders of that top line. Or would you be surprised if we saw changes to the lines? Because there was the question about whether or not he would consider breaking up the top line in order to try to ignite some other lines.
Yeah, I think it's too early. Like, you have this, I think you have to have some consistency in that department. That being said, I don't think so. No, I think he wants to see a little bit more. There were signs. They had a good push in the third period. The Lowry line was great. I think the Maniscalco line got going a little bit later in the hockey game, but I think you just can't keep tearing it apart and trying new pieces until you have some consistency fall into place. Now, I'm not Scott Arniel. There is some urgency going on right now, because you got to find a way to string together some wins here with the way things are going in the Western Conference. So, but if I'm them, I'm not making changes yet. You got to see what else you have.
Okay, so what about you? We'd love to know from all of you watching right now. What do you think? Do you think that we're going to see some changes to the lines today? You know what? I wouldn't be surprised, similarly to you, if they did keep the same lines together from Washington, but a shorter leash.
Yeah.
That perhaps if they need to start to get things going a little bit more, do we see some adjustments in it? But yeah, we want to hear from all of you. What would you do? Put your coaching cap on. Let us know whether or not you think that we will see some adjustments to the lines.
So before we get to that, here is Scott Arniel. When Daniel Fink's waiting here momentarily as well. Here's Scott Arniel on the desperate need for secondary scoring for the Jets.
Got to find a way to get some secondary scoring, and we're obviously Scheif's line did it again tonight, and we need other people to step up. And it's it's not about being pretty now. It's about I don't care how it goes in, off your head, off your leg, however it might be, rebounds, whatever, deflections. We got to find a way. Both the guys that aren't scoring, find a way to get some offense. Our D have to find a way to get pucks to that net front. I think we had 3 shots on net from our D, and that's something that we have to, as a group, have to get better at. And you can't go into games with one line running.
Sucks to lose. We know it, but nobody's quitting here. Nobody's doing anything. We're just going to keep showing up, keep playing. I think we've talked about it, and I'm not sure if Farney's talked about it to you guys, but I feel like we've made progressions in different areas of our game. But at the end of the day, it is a results-driven business, and we need to start winning. And it sucks right now. Do you feel like
There is. It's honest. I think he's speaking for a lot of people in that department. And Scott Arniel had talked to us before they left on the road trip about they are making steps. So it's confirmed with Gabe Vilardi. There are some good signs for this hockey team.
Yep.
Going that direction. So, hopefully this turns around sooner rather than later. It could be a Thomas Milic night. It might not be a Thomas Milic night, but in case it's tonight, we're going to bring in Daniel Fink, who knows a little bit about the Winnipeg Jets backup goaltender, who had just recently been called up due to the injury to Connor Hellebuck, and I believe he's on location.
He might be.
Yeah,
Unconfirmed reports. It
Right.
might be on. It might be an on-location day. It might not be.
You know what makes this perfect, Dan? If you just went, as you can see behind me here, it's a very big scoreboard with the moose symbol on it. But seriously now, Thomas Milic is on the cusp of making his National Hockey League debut. Could be this afternoon, could be tomorrow. What have you seen from the Jets draft, 5th round draft pick in the past 2 seasons and this one as well, where you're just like, you could see what the Jets were looking for when they draft him in the 5th?
Yeah, I think a lot of folks saw that when they drafted. I mean, here's a guy that has just won at every level that he's been at. And then when he got his opportunity in the American Hockey League coming in his rookie season, he helped solidify the Moose crease and lead them to a playoff spot that season. Now, obviously struggled a little bit in his second campaign. And we see that so often for players, right? That second pro season, maybe there's a little more expectation. Maybe they're pushing themselves a little harder and it just doesn't quite go. But he took that opportunity to go to the ECHL, play with the Norfolk Admirals, and was one of the best, if not the best goaltender in that league, especially when playoff time rolled around, and he was nearly unbeatable for the Admirals. So he comes back in this season, and I think maybe the first couple starts wasn't quite there, but then you look over his last month of action, and it's just been absolutely brilliant, and has earned this opportunity to get to be with the Winnipeg Jets, and hopefully, like you said, soon we'll see him between the pipes for the Winnipeg Jets, which should be a great day. It's been a little while since we've seen a Moose netminder make their debut with the Jets, so exciting times for sure.
It's been a little while since we've seen anybody really as the third goalie of the play in a season for the Jets. In 2018-19 was the last time that they had 3 different goaltenders make a start in a season.
It's truly remarkable.
It's unbelievable, really, when you think about it. You were even looking, just even the number of games that Comrie had played now with Hellebuck sidelined.
4 straight.
And how rare that was to see, never mind having a third goaltender having to come into the mix. Okay, so someone described Milic to me as being a gamer, which my daughter informs me is not. I thought that meant do anything to win. Exactly.
You
when
show
the
up.
Chips are down, he will be there.
So what is their definition of gamer?
Well,
now?
she told me no. That means you sit on a chair and play video games. So
I think there's the English language is funny that way. In that one word can mean
it depends on your
absolutely
demographic, is what I've
anything.
learned.
It is remarkably silly language.
That's right. She told me I was very wrong to call him a gamer unless he spends all of his time playing video games. But his mentality, when he is in the crease, can you just give us an idea of what you've seen from him specifically this season?
Yeah, if there's a word that I would use to describe
Tell me
Thomas
it's gamer.
Milic,
Come on,
he's
gamer.
a gamer.
Yes.
There's a couple of guys that I use. Nikita Chibrikov, I would always say he's a gamer. Thomas Milic is one of those guys as well. It can mean more than one thing. And as a gamer, and not necessarily a gamer myself, I can look at 2 facets of that. But he's a guy who's just so unflappable. I mean, puck ends up in behind him, and for the Moose, is the last number of starts. That's a rare occurrence. It's on to the next one. It's behind him. It could happen in a manner where maybe he gets trampled by somebody in the crease. Goal still counts. He doesn't get thrown off by that. He has his discussion with the referee, moves on to the next thing, and he's just so even-keeled, which is, I mean, you see it all the time with Connor Hellebuck. It's just, they're so hard to throw off because they're just laser focused on what they're doing. That's Thomas Milic, and he recognizes that he's not the biggest goaltender in the world. He's not one of these guys that's 6'5" that fills the net. So he has to battle for his ice in the crease when that traffic comes. And I think you've really seen that this season with the Moose, and an area where he has improved is fighting through that traffic, finding those pucks, and just going to battle every shift to make those stops. So I think he's one of those guys that comes in with that winner's mentality, and just though he hasn't necessarily won a championship or something like that in the past couple of years, he has that pedigree. He knows how to get the job done.
Okay, so because of injuries, there's a lot of members of the Manitoba Moose up with the Winnipeg Jets. Brad Lambert, Nikita Chibrikov, Parker Ford spent a lot of time up here. What have you seen from those three since they returned to the Moose?
Yeah, I think sometimes there's a bit of an adjustment period when guys come from the National Hockey League back to the American Hockey League. Your role might change a little bit. You're looked at to do different things, and everybody's pressing to get back to where they just were in the National Hockey League. So sometimes it can take a couple of games to adjust, but we saw Parker Ford and Nikita Chibrikov pick up points on their first shift back in the AHL. Parker Ford's got a goal and 2 assists now in 4 games. Brad Lambert's now got points in back-to-back games. So they're starting to lock it in, and I think this whole Moose team is adjusting to those guys coming back into the lineup as well, because while the lines didn't have to shift too much, we saw things change on the special teams, which kind of changed up a little bit, but we saw the Moose come through with a couple of power play goals last game. So those guys are kind of settling back into the lineup and just really turn this Moose group into a very, very deep forward set. And I know I've seen some consternation sometimes online when the Moose post their lines. It's like, well, why is this guy here in the lineup? Why is this guy here? Well, it's kind of an anagram. They can put out what the team writes down that day, and it changes every day. So this is a team that can very comfortably roll 4 lines, barring getting into special teams things. So everybody's getting their ice time and fighting for ice time too, because there is that friendly competition within the team. But those guys have fit right in, and it certainly helps the Moose out to have just a few more weapons in that closet.
Yeah, Elias Solomonson played obviously in Washington. You know, peaks and valleys, as you would expect when you have a young guy making his NHL debut and going up against a team like he was with the Capitals. Again, if you're referencing his season this year, I know people are so excited to be able to see him called up and want to know what he will be able to do at an NHL level when given regular opportunity. At the AHL level, what have you seen from him so far, and what makes you think that he's going to be able to transition to the NHL when given that opportunity to do it on a full-time role?
Yeah, there's nothing better than seeing that solo lap. I think
so good.
It's the best.
Yeah,
The best.
especially for us who deal with these guys in the American Hockey League every day, to see that player get to live out their dream, whether it's somebody like Elias, who's just in kind of his second season here in North America, or it's one of these guys that has to wait a little bit longer to get that opportunity. It's always such a remarkable night, and to see somebody live out their dream like that. So that's really, really cool. Wish we could have seen a little bit more of it, but the Moose were playing at the same time. But for Elias, I mean, you look at what he does effectively, and he skates so well. He's a big body. I think he's one of those guys that just, when he gets positioning consistently, he just makes it so hard for the opposition. And he really found kind of a home with Isaac Phillips as just 2 big defensemen here that were shutting everything down for the Moose. And Elias' ability to just gain positioning, rub a guy out on the wall, grab the puck, and make a good first pass. It sounds cliche, but every team in the National Hockey League is looking for guys who can do that on a consistent basis, because it is so hard to do consistently. So for Elias, it's really exciting to see him get that opportunity in the National Hockey League. And obviously it's a massive adjustment, especially we see defensemen take a little longer sometimes to find their game at the next level. So patience is always important, and you both know that is one of my main things that I preach, whether it's players in the AHL or coming to the NHL, is just have patience with players. But certainly exciting to see Elias kind of apply some of those things that we see on such a regular basis with the Moose at the next level in his first game.
All right, that's Daniel Fink, embedded at Canada Life Center.
We'll just yell up to you. Thanks, Finker.
Thanks.
Just
buddy.
let me know. I'll walk down if you need me. I'll see you in a couple of minutes. I mean, I think I'll wave down at you here. I think
yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Talk to you later.
It's Daniel Fink joining us from inside the bowl here. So from one voice of a team to another voice of a team.
Just keep things rolling.
Friend of the show, Mike Maniscalco. Who?
Hey guys, I
What's up?
have lost your audio, but everything else is fine. Happy to be here.
Okay.
So just heard Daniel and you guys. I wish I had I can show you I can do this one for you if that works. So
I love the shot.
But yeah, whatever reason, your audio just went out on me.
Okay.
So if you can hear me,
We can. Maybe we'll have
come back in.
Yes.
We'll sign you out.
This is when
We'll text them. Hold
okay.
on.
I was gonna say that maybe I'll just write it.
Yeah.
Page. I'll
Ask
act
them a
it out.
question. Yeah.
You know what was really great in the 90s was when you would play charades.
Yeah. True.
I love it. Sounds like hang up, call again.
I suck at that game.
Oh,
I know you're not surprised, but anyways.
well, I wasn't going to say that, but
Maniscalco.
it's great to see so many of you in the chat again. And someone was messaging in that they're Roman. Hello from Australia. Oh, we asked you whether or not you expected to see changes to the Winnipeg Jets lineup today. Do you think Scott Arniel will shuffle the lines as he continues to look for secondary scoring, an area that has been an issue for the Jets up to this point? A lot of you saying, there's a few of you that say that, yes, you do think so, but a lot of people saying, look, give them a little bit of time, that you don't think that he's going to change the lines today. There is no morning skate with this being a 5 p.m. Eastern start, so neither team is skating this morning.
Hold on, I said Mike the message. Mike, sign out and come back in again. Just give me the thumbs up.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So we are waiting. We will have to wait until warm up. There is no pregame show. As I pass along information, there is no pregame show for the Jets on TSN broadcast today because it is out east and the early start time. So you will want to make sure that you are either listening to CJOB or following along on the Jets social channels. Mitchell Clinton as well will tweet out the lines, and so that you can find out how the Winnipeg Jets are planning to at least start this game.
Mhm.
And of course, the question that everyone's waiting to see as well is when will it be Eric Comrie or Thomas Milich in net?
Okay. Caden, give Mike a try here. See if we got us. Mike,
I
Maniscalco. Can you hear
Oh,
us
there
now?
we are.
Hey!
Yes.
No, it was great. I was listening to Daniel, and once again, I felt like I was being overshadowed. So I am for rain.
As you can see behind me here.
Yeah, and I'm unfortunately I won't be able to just
Yeah.
run down to you guys today. But no, happy to be here.
No, but we'd
And-
like it if you could just hold it up.
Yeah, the
I-
whole
I-
time. Yeah, the whole hit. Just
'Cause-
use that angle.
We always joke, Mike, that as a reporter, when you're holding the microphone and the scrums go long and the hand, especially the arm starts
Yeah,
to shake,
the shoulder.
especially early on in the season when
Yeah.
everybody's still in kind of off-season mode, and you go for the love of everything.
There we
Yes.
go.
but what you had to do was learn through the years the sly switch
Yeah.
to the other hand.
Yeah.
You know, you rotate the shoulders, stay slim, and make that happen. Staying
you-
slim
I
is
like
something
staying
I haven't had a problem with in about 30 years. So
Hey, happy Thanksgiving.
thank you.
And I know you'll appreciate this. Apparently 38 years ago, around this time, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles came out in theaters. How much did you love that movie?
Oh, well, first off, those aren't two pillows. That's the first thing. And I mean, that is, I mean, if you think of a perfect holiday movie that gets all of the emotions, and how John Candy and Steve Martin just play off of each other the whole way through. I mean, it's a classic, and nobody thinks about it that it's like a Thanksgiving movie, but like that's what it is to try to get home for the holidays. It's great. And if you haven't, a plug for the John Candy documentary that's out right now.
Oh,
if you
gosh.
haven't seen it, it is phenomenal. So
It's so good. It's
It makes me cry.
yeah.
The final few minutes of it.
Mhm.
Oh,
oh, and I wish that I could deliver anything the way that Dan Aykroyd delivered the eulogy for John Candy. That's perfection. But happy to be here. It seems like we just did this about 7 days ago, because we did just do this about
Yeah.
7 days
Well, that's why
ago.
we wanted to do this, because we're like, well, what else can we really ask him about? Here's the thing. The Metropolitan Division, probably not the best name for a team, a division devoted to such quality, but there's how many points separating first and last? What did we look into? 6 or something like that?
6.
Mike? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, the Rangers were in last place coming into the game Wednesday before American Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then they win that game. And it's funny if you take a look and not try to throw shade on the Western Conference, where there's a couple of teams where we know they're in a situation, they're still either in a rebuild or, you know, maybe they're tumbling from where they were a few years ago when that check comes due. The entire Eastern Conference, if you take a look at it,
Yes.
you know, if you go on a 5-game winning streak, you can end up in first place in the Metro or the Atlantic. You go on the other side, you go on a 4-game losing streak, and you're going to be looking up at 6 teams. I've never remembered a season where one half of the league is this close when we get to this point in the season, when we're 2 months in and we're at the quarter pole. It's unreal. And for the Canes, they have 30 points on the season. And their fans, it's a good thing now, because I've lived through the days of the apathy where they'd lose 2 games and it was meh. Now they lose 2 games and it's the end of the world, and we've got to figure out what's going on. And are there players on other teams that should be coming? And you're just like, everybody just calm down, take a look where they are. And when you consider who they've been missing for the majority of the season due to injury, I'll take where this team is right now. And look, you guys in Winnipeg are dealing with it right now. You lose Connor Hellebuck and you get into a tread water mode. And I hate to use that term, but it's like, just if we can survive these injuries, when everybody comes back, well, now everything can take off. Well, the Canes have done more than survive the injuries, although they're missing a big piece who scored 2 goals in Canada Life Center in Jordan Staal, and the team captain. And if I could, I'll use a football reference. Jordan Staal, for me, is the best left tackle in the National Hockey League. You don't notice all of the great things he does because you notice what other people do. But when Jordan Staal is not in the lineup and all of a sudden, the other team's getting more pressure on the quarterback and you can't run the ball and you can't do this and you can't do that, you notice when Jordan Staal is not in the lineup. And that's what you've noticed the last 2 games for Carolina, that game in Buffalo and then the game against the Rangers. There are certain situations where you're like, he would be in there either winning a draw or against this line, and maybe this pass doesn't happen or that play doesn't get set up or they don't win the face-off and the Canes have possession. So he's still ill, and he's a game-time decision today. We'll find out. If he takes the warm-up, I think it'd be a good sign that he's in. But, as of right now, I have no idea if he's going to play or not.
Yeah, these early starts, we were joking earlier on. We said, well, we're not going to put up projected lines because it was an optional skate yesterday. So
we have no clue.
We have no clue whether or not there's going to be changes going into this one. I appreciate the football reference. Both of us, obviously, huge football fans. Little disappointed it wasn't a 90s television or movies reference. Like if we were to think of what would the equivalent.
Well, I mean, he's the Danny Tanner of this team. Now, Stamos and Coulier get all of the reps. But, I mean, if you didn't have Bob Saget as the straight man in that show, I think that the thread falls apart. And to go that distance, if you actually knew Bob Saget's stand-up, much like Jordan Staal, everybody thinks he's this on the show, but behind the scenes, he's something completely different.
Oh, my gosh.
You know what? You're fantastic.
Hold on. Here, I got another one too, because November 27th, Rocky. I'm trying to remember what year it was, like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Rocky 4 came out. How did Rocky shape your childhood?
Oh my! Well, first off, as an American, I mean, he's the ultimate underdog. He ended the Cold War. We don't bring up Rocky. We don't bring up Rocky 4 much around Andrei Svechnikov. I don't think Alexander Nikishin or Pyotr Kochetkov are aware. But there is somebody who there are some folks who want us to ask Alexander Nikishin the way he's built, and he's got not the exact Drago haircut, but they want us to get him to say a couple of lines, and we're like, we can't do that to him because the Cold War is over.
I must break you. You can't get him to say I must break you.
No, no, because I don't want to be responsible for what happens afterwards. So, but no, overall, it's that you trace the Rocky story. The first movie that came out, I didn't see it until I was much older, but Rocky 3, when he fights Clubber Lang, once again, you go with all of the emotions. You lose Mickey in that one. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling movies, 30 years later. Spoiler alert, everyone. But no, that was big, and you cannot. Anytime there's an underdog reference here in the States, you default to Rocky.
For sure. I was telling Sarah when Rocky 3 came out and the Clubber Lang thing, because of the beating he laid on Rocky the first time they fought.
Yep.
Like, my parents bought us boxing gloves, which was a dumb idea. And Rocky taught me to just keep getting up. Like, you would get the wind knocked out of you. It would sound like a seal. You got up.
Yeah. I didn't hear no bell, Jamie. You got to keep getting up. So the other side of that is our head coach, Rod Brindamore. I'm sure that everybody is aware, is very much in shape and is still in tremendous shape. And he has a huge affinity for Sylvester Stallone. Right. So we have been somehow behind the scenes been trying to see if we could ever get those two in the same room just to see what would happen.
That would be fantastic.
I'd pay to watch that.
I mean, it would be a race to 1,500 push-ups and they'd tie.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, as people now that look for content all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine how viral that would go?
That-
oh my gosh, yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah, it's that
I
right.
You
know.
could do your whole intermission with that.
yeah. That's well. Again, I'm looking to make life as easy for me as possible. In
Right.
particular, like on the road when we have a lot more stuff to do on the intermission. So
Yeah.
if you guys can help that out, if Tulsa King for whatever reason is filming an episode in Winnipeg, we will fly up. And we'll bring Seth Jarvis with us to tie it all together. And you let me know. And it's the one funny thing about this week is it's been really the spotlight for Winnipeg players for us here. Seth Jarvis with that beautiful shorthanded goal that he scores, and then he has a monster goal against the Rangers the other night. Although the Canes come up short, but for Nick Ehlers, for Nikolai, it was an emotional return last week, and I think him getting that point against his former team, kind of he can exhale. And then I think the best thing for guys who've spent a long time in one place is to get it over with quickly. You play your old team as quick as you can, rip the Band-Aid off, get all the feels and the emotions out. Well, he gets to do we saw you, and then, it's, oh, we just did this. Okay. It's not going to be, it's just another game, not, sit and wait for it and see if it'd be a bigger game of consequence. We're not, I'm trying to think of a reference for you. I was not a huge Game of Thrones fan.
Yeah.
But I know, shocking, but I do know like the people who love it, like the last books were never written by, what is it? JRRRR, like 7R Martin. So, we didn't have to wait, he doesn't have to wait 20 years to find out how the story ends. He knows exactly how chapter 1 and chapter 2 go. Grasping at straws for that reference, admittedly, but I think it works.
I think it was extremely effective. So happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Thank you.
I'm sorry we don't get to do this 2 more times this
We
year.
might just have to.
Yeah.
Like we might just have to look. Like we understand that these teams have finished up their season series, but we might just need to check in on you.
Yeah.
Like early
Hey.
February. See how things are going.
We can ask you about the Buffalo Sabres this Friday. So
Hey, we just saw him, so I can give you a rundown. And
right there, disappointing you only get Mike twice. See,
Yeah.
the fans love it.
yeah, no offense to Rob Ray or Dan Dunleavy, but I'm available, so make that happen. And guys, you can do a whip around for the league. We can do that. Or what you're forgetting is see you guys in June.
Yes, I accept your terms.
Thank you.
We need to see you before June, so I think that we will.
Yeah.
I think that we'll touch base and just do a whip around the league.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit. We'll find some sort of pop culture tie-in, some sort of anniversary.
We got to bring in some 80s
Do it.
toys.
Oh, we can do that. Whatever you need.
Yeah.
So I'm here. I'm
You're
here.
the best, Mike.
Thank you.
Mike,
Next time I'll use an elf reference for us all. So we'll be good.
So we have to bring him before Christmas for sure. Then.
Thank you guys. Have a
Thanks,
great
Mike.
one, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Sounds good. Thanks so
Mike,
much.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
I love that. So your love for Rocky, and
Yeah.
I love Rocky. I love the underdog story. I love
Yeah.
the training story. Give me anything like that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But how did it influence your life? Like, didn't see that question coming.
Right.
I appreciate that he could come up with an answer.
Because it was going to lead into my conversation about my brother beating the crap at each other with boxing gloves from Rocky
How
3.
did this influence your life? Rocky 4.
Rocky,
Go.
This is a documentary we're interviewing. So I'm just putting together the Rocky 4 documentary.
Oh.
There's a great line from James Robinson. It's right when Clubber Lang. No,
Yeah.
not Clubber Lang, sorry. Apollo Creed dies when he faces, and Drago goes, if he dies, he dies. That's one of the lines that we're going to talk about there.
Okay.
Yeah. Dark, I know, but it's Black Friday.
So I saw someone say, was the script leaked for the next movie?
Yeah.
The script has been leaked for the next Runaway episode, which is debuting today. And
Yes.
we've got a very quick look. Don't forget that you can see a small portion of it in the first intermission of this game here tonight. And then the full length episode, which comes in around 18, 19 minutes,
It was a long road trip.
will be available on the Winnipeg Jets YouTube channel. Let's take a look at a snippet of what you can expect.
Mhm.
13 days, it's a long time out there, and it's 6 different teams and all in the West. So real good challenge.
The captain, Adam Lowry, is on board and is going to play his first game of the regular season.
Obviously, we didn't get the results we wanted, but
Slowly emerging inside, shoots, score!
the road trip wasn't a total failure.
Found a way to win the hockey game. Let's get them out of here, all right?
This one focused on that 6-game road trip. They're on the 5-game
Where
road trip
everybody
right
came
now.
back?
6-game road trip where everybody, it felt like, came back.
Yeah.
So again, that debuts tonight. You do not want to miss it. Always love being able to show you all behind the scenes access with the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, thanks so much, everybody, for joining us.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed the ride. It was a lot of different subject lines.
You
in
never
it.
knew what you were going to get.
Yeah.
Don't forget that you can always watch us on Facebook, X, Winnipeg Jets YouTube channel. And if for some reason you are not able to watch live, you can catch us in podcast form as well.
I appreciate the time. Should be a good one tonight. It could be a Thomas Miller start.
It could be an Eric Commerce start.
That's what we have for you. That's the inside information we have for you. And I know you're grateful for tuning in. So thanks so much for watching, everybody.
But we will see you tomorrow when the Winnipeg Jets
Yes.
take on the Nashville Predators. Catch you at 12:30. Thanks so much, everyone, for checking in.